Complexity of a god. Fuck, should I be in the limelight, drugged out, thinking about nothing but money.
We have to establish a few things. Firstly, what's art? Here I was gonna be quirky and read the description of Merriam-Webster or some fucking bullshit, but turns out this is shit. This is not true. This is not art. So here is what art actually is: the making of objects, images, music that are beautiful or express feeling. So basically, Cambridge Dictionary knows their shit. That's right, everything from Large Bather by Picasso to the emo bitch in the corner with her broken hearts on the high tops. It's art. If it's self-expression, it's art. Now, that's a pretty low bar, so let's hop on to the next shit and see what's actually good.
Buddy, having a little trouble there? Being a little stiff, are you?
What this awkward fuck was actually trying to say is, that's a pretty low bar for entry, and it's not worth it to engage with every single self-expression. So let's weed out the shit ones, leave the good ones. How do we do that? We have to find out what's good. What I mean here is not what's actually good art or what's actually good morally or any of those things. I mean, is this piece of content good, right? Their objective way to see it. There are these communities of assholes which purpose is to objectively judge things and give them these arbitrary scores from 1 to 10, 1 to 5, because apparently that's how we judged human expression, human feelings, and human passion, with a number. Now these guys are very objective and think this movie is good and this movie is bad and this movie is good and this movie is bad and this game is good and this game is bad apparently, and that's a bad game and that's a good game. Yeah, that's we're into a couple of problems. We can't be objective. That's we know that. There's no way, even though we continuously lie to ourselves, there's no way to objectively judge something. Now, that still leaves us with a few options, right? If you didn't know, there's this whole field filled with people that judge, is this center off shot? Is this center off shot? Is this center off shot?
Jeez, buddy, do I have to fix all your fucking mistakes? God damn it, it's stupid piece of...
Is this shot off center? And what does that mean? This shot can be off center because it's breaking the rules, breaking the mold, and actually doing something original, or it's just bad, right? For example, here we have a shot from Mr. Robot. Is this a good shot because it breaks the mold and it's not like every other shot of normal goddamn conversations that we've seen 100 goddamn times? Or is it a bad shot because we have seen this 100 of times because it works and because it's effective? That's a trick question, because it's directed by Sam Esmail and he's a fucking genius, but you get my point. We can't really objectively judge a piece of content on the fake rules that we have created for it, because there are many good exceptions and it's all kind of arbitrary, but there is some hope in the tunnel, there is some light, there is this big thing called intent. What did the creator intended with this shit, right? We're gonna stick with cinema for now, so let's look at this fucking shot again. If it's Sam Esmail, which it is, it's genius because he intended it to be this way. He intended to convey something through the shot. But if it's just some jerk-off amateur that just doesn't know how to structure properly scenes, that's amateur work. Even though that shit breaks the mold, that's still kinda shit, because he didn't intend to convey anything through it, he just doesn't know how to compose a shot. Here comes another thing, believe it or not, ability. Because if you're a good director, you can pull something off, you can pull something like this off, right? But if you're a bad director, you can try to do it, but that shit probably not gonna work, and again, it's gonna be shit. And that's where another fucking element comes in: ability. Is this director actually able and skillful enough to show this refined message in not too shallow of a way, but still in a deep enough way when it's not obvious, and do all these touchy things and compose this masterpiece of a movie? Most of the directors and most of the people working in the industry are not. Hot take over here, because we don't have a 10 out of 10 every fucking day, do we? Now that means intent may be actually a good thing. There's something that we can actually judge intent by. Here comes the next fucking problem. How do we judge intent? Because when we look at casual audiences, they're way too fucking subjective and way too fucking unreliable. Because Joe over here is busy stuffing his fucking face with popcorn and is not paying enough attention to the goddamn movie, so he won't get the fucking idea. Karen over here had a bad day at work and doesn't want to watch this fucking movie, but she bought a goddamn ticket. And there is Johnny on the back of the theater with his uncle getting raped. Way too subjective, man. That shit doesn't fucking cut it. But on the other hand, we have the professionals.
The bugs are annoying, sure. At the same time, it's padded out with meaningless errands that make getting to those strong character moments a painstaking gauntlet.
It has a little something for everyone.
Yeah, that doesn't work. Cultural landscape, political agenda, bad fucking day that makes them revert to the same boring ass analysis every time, and being pretentious assholes in general. These things stop very directly critics to be objective from shit, because
They are still people.
and they still make mistakes, a lot of mistakes, a shit ton of mistakes.
Mulan is a new high watermark for Disney that can only be described with one word: unforgettable. For decades, I've been saying horseshit like this.
Yet, there are still some objective takes. Not all the time, but sometime. And most of the criteria that I have babbled out up until now is still valuable. Doesn't work every time, but sometimes it works, and even though it's not the most objective thing, it can still be very much helpful. At the end of the day, you can actually kind of objectively judge, is this piece of content good or not. It just takes like a shit ton of effort that most people are not comfortable with wasting. So that's that, I guess. But that doesn't fucking matter, does it? And that's simply because all the criteria that I've said up until now doesn't matter at all, because art is way too subjective. People's emotions and experiences can be constrained in these fake rules that we have created for them, just so we can pat ourselves on the back and say, yeah, I know that that piece of art is good and that piece of art is not. It just doesn't work that way, bro. I mean, it works that way, but if we're being real about it, it doesn't, right? Now, for example, take this asshole. He knows this fucking meal is good, but he doesn't recognize it because he has a personal grudge against the restaurant, right? And if he didn't, his life wouldn't be shaken up. It would be just a nice meal and he would go home afterwards. But this fucking asshole is reminded by his childhood and the innocent happiness that he was able to feel back then that he is not able to feel now. And his whole life is shaken up just because this fucking Ratatouille or whatever. The exact same thing can be said about music, paintings, movies, any piece of art really. And yet we still judge artistic expression. Based on what? Ourselves, our expectations, standards, experiences, views on life, and all that stupid shit. With that said, let's look to one of my favorite movies. This isn't really a spoiler warning because the only place you can find this movie is on Pirate Bay with the stunning quality of 480p. And I'm highly doubtful that anybody is gonna make such effort to watch this fucking video. So here is the movie in like 4 sentences. This fucking guy shaves off his mustache and his wife doesn't notice, and then her friends don't notice, and then they get into this big fight, and now apparently she thinks he never had a mustache. Now we have these pictures which like magically disappear, but then we have this woman that tells him on his IT that he definitely has a mustache. Now he's convinced he's crazy, but then he thinks that his wife is plotting some big fucking scheme to put him in a fucking asylum or some bullshit. Then his father died, but he doesn't really remember that he died, and then he can't contact his mother, so he like goes to Hong Kong. And then he goes to like a distant village of Hong Kong, around Hong Kong. He lives there for a while, and now all of a sudden he's on a vacation with his wife. And that's how the movie ends. Now this may seem chaotic, but that's not because of me. The actual movie is very chaotic, and this shit doesn't make much sense in the movie either. It has a narrative, but it's not really sure what kind of narrative it really is. Oh my god, Colin, you've checked the footage or something, you stupid asshole. Couldn't you done something about this shit? I'm fucked once again by this stupid cunt. here am I tried to recreate the same fit, but I moved out like a couple days ago, and that shirt is at home, and this is the only close thing that I have to it. So we're gonna stick with it and pretend like nothing happened. La Moustache. That's the name of the actual movie. From all the shit that I've read online and all the opinions that I've gobbled up, it seems like everybody is wrong. Who's everybody? Well, it's these two groups. The movie didn't have Thanos or Iron Man or Hulk in it, and unlike one of my favorite movies, Inception, it had like a open ending, and I wasn't sure what was really going on, and it was just very confusing. That's a 1 out of 10 for me. Oh wait. Yes, one of my favorite pieces of cinema is this French movie from 2005 by the name of La Moustache. It has a bunch of different narratives, and then it drops a little hint in every single one of them. You're not really sure what's going on, and it doesn't have what you peasants call actually good structure. Wait. Yeah, I don't wanna be a part of that. But if I had to be objective and try to actually analyze the film, it's like slightly above mediocre, and it turns out a lot of people think like me this time. But also a lot of other people like the number 7 apparently. There's some good moments in the cinematography, in the feel of a movie, in the vibe of the movie, right? The acting is pretty good. I don't know what's good acting and what's bad acting, but a lot of fucking people mentioned that the movie had some good actors, so apparently it has good acting. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But on the other huge fucking side, the movie has a few narratives, right? Is this guy fucking crazy? Is his wife a pathological liar that's just trying to fuck with him? Is this some Truman Show type of deal? It's not the Truman Show, the movie that Jim Carrey was in, and his whole life was a TV show. Remember that one? Yeah, that's the third option. The problem here is the movie is not actually sure what it wants to be. It drops what I would say equal hints towards every one of these narratives. And it's, not gonna lie, kinda confusing. Now, is confusing necessarily bad? No, it's not. Is confusing necessarily bad when it comes to making a mystery? Yes, it is. And at the end of the day, there is no clear and really defined answer, because if they were building up all these 3 variants and actually one of them was true, that would be still manageable, you know? That would be actually good mystery. But it's not. We still have no fucking idea what happened. Oopsie fucking doopsie. From some of the reviews I've read, there are actual like bonus tapes with the fucking DVD or something, in which the actors and the director are interviewed, and from what it seems, there was no clear narrative and no clear idea that was trying to be conveyed to you through this whole fucking hour and a half, bro. It was just a piece of cinema, that's it. It wasn't really trying to say something important, it wasn't really trying to achieve anything. And unfortunately, again, if I had to be objective about it, this is just a mediocre adaptation of a cool book. Why do I like this movie? Because I don't watch and I don't consume artistic expression in such an analytical and boring way. It can be fun sometimes, but most of the time it's normally shit, and I want to engage in a more of a emotional way with the media that I'm consuming, just like all the other normal average human beings, which I'm a part of, I swear. The first time I watched La Moustache will be ingrained in my head forever. To paint a picture for you, I'm still in school. I have no idea who am I as a person. I have no idea what am I supposed to do in this society, how am I supposed to function in it, and I'm watching the movie in a semi-ruined house that apparently some people live in, that's full of chaos and full of this energy of shittiness around me, right? Wasn't a good time, kind of confusing time of my life, yeah. So I'm watching the goddamn movie, right? And it's depressing. This guy goes full on crazy and ruins his life, and I'm not feeling good. And then this part of the movie comes on. The main dude escapes to Hong Kong, right? He spends a night in a hotel, and then he's gonna return and fix his life, right? He's gonna explain whatever fuck happened with his wife, and he's gonna get his shit together. The problem is, he goes back from the airport and goes on these nifty travel boats again. It's like public transportation throughout a river, right? And he rides them all day for the vibe, I'm assuming. After such a nice fucking day, he doesn't go to the airport, he goes on a supply boat that drives him off to a distant village around Hong Kong, I'm assuming. And he goes to a motel and he presumably lives there for a while.
Also, I forgot to mention that the last 1/3 of the movie is only filled with music and silence, no talking, which I find real neat.
Now that sequence that I've just described is one of the best pieces of cinema ever. How is that exactly? Here is how, you fucking cunt. Because it gave the 16-17-year-old me the idea in my head that even though shit can be strange and shit can be confusing, if I take the time to reflect on my past, on my future, and at the same time just enjoy the moment that I'm living in right now, shit's gonna be fine. The world will keep on spinning and there is no need to get hung up on shit. Now, I'm not sure, do I really believe that right now, point for point, but you know what, it gave me some needed security at the time, and that's why I really fucking like this movie. Let me get this straight, there is no fucking way the director of the movie, or the writer of the fucking book for that matter, had intended on this idea and on this subplot of their creation, right? So this is a very subjective take on the movie. And that's the main criteria of judging art. What was your personal interpretation? Because when I look at this beautiful art from Blood Machine,
At Flash Squeeze on Twitter.
I'm thinking, oh shit, this reminds me of the demon that was under my bed when I was like 5 years old. That's real fucking cool. But when I look at this, I think, whoopsie doopsie, somebody sneezed while holding the paintbrush. And then fucking slipped on the paint and started selling this shit for 400 a piece. But there is some other asshole that will look at this and think, oh, this is some average Twitter art, and would think this shit is supposed to represent the chaotic nature of the universe, and he's gonna buy it and he's gonna place it in his office, and apparently he's really gonna love it. So fuck what other people think, fuck what the critics think, and fuck what the actual intent of the creator was. The only important thing here is what this stupid piece of shit art means to you. And that's why La Moustache gets one of the best pieces of cinema ever created out of 10. It has a little something for everybody.
J'aime la vida, j'aime la vida, j'aime la vida, je veux une baguette, je veux